Welcome to week 7, everyone. This is our last full week of content and the last dimensions of wellness that we'll be focusing on for class, which include environmental wellness, spiritual wellness, and then putting that all together for a more global or worldwide view of wellness. As you are finishing up your behavior modification plan for this week, I want you to keep in mind how all the components of wellness have potentially influenced your behavior modification plan, whether it was a storming success or you had to restart the wagon a couple times. You've made some changes and learned some things about yourself. So let's investigate what it looks like to focus on environmental and spiritual wellness in a global context. It should come to no surprises you that environmental wellness is tied in with our other dimensions of wellness. One that pops up in my mind really quickly is physical wellness and environmental wellness. When we walk places instead of driving places, that's great for the environment, it's great for our body, it's great for our mind and some socializing as well. So it's a win-win for everybody. But environmental wellness is living a lifestyle where we respect our surroundings and also we are aware of the limited nature of Earth's natural resources. So limited trees, fresh water, ground that's able to support plants and animals, living a lifestyle where that might not be in the front of your mind, but it's at least in the back of your mind that the resources we have here on Earth are finite. And we are taking actions to protect the Earth. We have recognized that human behavior is causing destruction, and there are many people in the world that are pushing back and encouraging scientific breakthroughs in things like other renewable energies and ways for us to lower our footprint on the Earth. Environmental wellness is also the interaction between nature and our personal environments. So things that we do in our buildings, in our homes, and in our lives that interact with nature can also be a way to practice environmental wellness. Time for an activity. Take out a piece of paper or type in the notes function on your phone or type in a Word document. But what are 5 things that you do right now to be respectful of the environment? Outside, at school, if you're at school, at your house, at your workplace. I know for me, reducing, reusing, and recycling come to mind. But what about things like transportation or energy usage or other daily habits? Go ahead and write down 5 things that you are mindful of when thinking about the environment. A few things that I have been mindful of the last few years are asking for no straw when I go to a lot of restaurants. Sometimes that doesn't happen. They just bring the glass of water with the straw in it. But I've been paying more attention to my use of plastic straws, plastic utensils. I've been paying attention to how often I launder certain things in the house, like hand towels or things that perhaps can take a few weeks or days before you need to throw them in the washing machine. I used to babysit for a family who had 3 little kids, and after every shower, the mom would wash the towels of all 3 of the kids. And maybe you do that as well, but to me that was weird because the kids were already clean and the towels were just being used to dry them off. And these kids took multiple showers in a day because they had a swimming pool in their backyard. So when I babysat for them and the mom wasn't home, I would hang those towels back up because I just could not justify the energy and the water usage for washing a towel that to me didn't seem very, very dirty. But what are some other things that you can do to just make some small strides to protecting our environment? Protecting our environment does come around to playing into other dimensions of wellness. So physical, emotional, intellectual, occupational. Here's another opportunity for you to brainstorm what might be some consequences of an unsafe or unhealthy environment on your health. I know if I were living in a place that I did not feel safe running or walking outside. I have lights, I have big paths. There are a lot of people here. But if I was in a neighborhood where I didn't feel safe going outside, that would definitely affect both my physical and my emotional health for sure. If I were working all day at an occupation that had me in a high humidity, high temperature location or space, that to me would be an unhealthy environment, and it would be a drag to go to work. It would be pretty tough to get myself motivated to go to work every day. So take a couple of minutes, think about how the environment might influence some of your other dimensions of wellness. What are some things you can do inside your home? Perhaps you live by yourself, or you live with parents or adults, or you live with a significant other. Take a look at the different ways that there might be contaminants inside your house. Mold. Are there cleaning products that are harsh for you? When's the last time you washed your sheets? So I just lectured everybody on not washing their towels after they've used them once in the shower. But I was a college student once who lived in a dorm room, and I know that there are plenty of people who went all semester long without washing their sheets. And you are gathering a lot of yuckiness, a lot of dead skin cells, and potentially allergens as well. So, one thing you can do to make your environment a little more healthy is wash those sheets. In fact, you could put this PowerPoint on pause, strip your bed, put the sheets in the washing machine, and by the time you're done washing this, maybe it will be ready to go to the dryer. That's a little bit of multitasking, right? So, what can you do inside to make your home healthier? On the flip side, what can you do outside to make your home, outside of your home, to make the environment healthier? Maybe you're planting a tree. Maybe you are biking to work or carpooling or sharing a ride to work. Perhaps you're purchasing reusable things. So, a reusable water bottle instead of buying a new water bottle every time, a reusable lunchbox, Tupperware. You're bringing your own bags to the grocery store. All of those are small behavior changes. And as you know, you've been working on your behavior change all 7 weeks here, but those small behavior changes become new habits, and then you can embrace those new habits, and pretty soon they're your new normal. So think to yourself about a couple of ways that you can be healthy outside your home. Now let's zoom out from your kitchen table. Imagine seeing yourself sitting at your desk or wherever you're watching this. Zoom out to the roof of your space, to your city, to your state or country, and then to the whole world. And these health issues, environmental as well as physical and emotional health of the world's population, really all do get tied in and connected together. So you might not be living abroad right now. Perhaps you are. Maybe you're in a different country. But if you zoom out and take your localized health concerns and blow them up to a global proportion, how might those global health issues affect you? And how has technology influenced global health? For the better, for the worse, some of both? Go ahead and write down a few thoughts on how global health issues might be affecting you. Even if something is happening in Southeast Asia and you are living in Southwestern United States, how might that affect you? We certainly saw an example of that when pandemics or viruses have come from one place and infiltrated the world, right? All of a sudden that becomes a big global problem. And maybe technology helped with that, and maybe technology hindered that as well. But take yourself from your local environment and now move yourself out to viewing this from a global aspect. And speaking of technology, I think the strides that have been made in science and technology, especially when it comes to global health, have been huge. People have been able to get vaccines to countries that would not otherwise be able to get them. People have been able to get clean water to places. We've been able to spread information about credible research and the research findings and develop pharmaceuticals and reach people and find people that may have are on the outer fringes of society and might be overlooked otherwise. However, technology does have a other side to it. Things like misinfodemics or misinformation, fake news, pseudoscience, people making claims that aren't true. Misinformation can lead to lives being cut short, and it can also fuel epidemics like measles, Ebola, Zika, polio, and even now COVID. So, one example that I think of from when I was a younger child was HIV or AIDS. And we had newspapers and we had news on TV, so we didn't get information, every minute like it happens right now. But there was a lot of misinformation about AIDS, how it got contracted, how it was spread, and that put a lot of fear in people. And just like what happened when we didn't know a lot about COVID, a lot of things, a lot of decisions got made before we had all the information. Yes, it's important to make decisions to protect people. However, that misinformation may just keep evolving and more people spread it, and it can do more harm than good sometimes. So misinformation spreads distrust, and it also can spread disease. So how we consume our information definitely has ramifications for the future of our health and the future of our planet as well. So when you are using your technology and being thankful for it, definitely think about what are some of the other ramifications of this technology that might be out of our control. The World Health Organization has created I don't want to call it a top 10 list, but a list of concerns for global health for the year 2020 and beyond. This list was developed with expert input from all over the world, governments, scientists, other experts in their field. And the big concerns or the big theme from this list is that leaders are not investing enough resources in the core priorities and systems. They are being reactive, so they are acting after the fact instead of being proactive and preventative. Health is an investment in our future. So just like we build bridges, just like we save money to purchase a house, we put money into our education, we buy possessions, we need to invest in our future with health. So we need to invest money and time into health. And the responsibility doesn't just fall with quote unquote health organizations. We all need to advocate for better health and take our own leadership with that. So let's take a look at what has made the list of health concerns for this next decade. One of the World Health Organization's top concerns is the climate crisis. Changing climate. We have air pollution that's killing people. Climate change contributes to food production changes. So places on Earth that used to be able to grow something that maybe now can't if we have a drought or way too much rain or temperatures have changed, we rely on Mother Nature to feed us. And when that can't happen, even artificial ingredients get made from natural sources. So that's a big concern with climate change. And climate change can fuel the spread of diseases like malaria. So mosquitoes that used to die in colder climates and colder weather, now they're seeing them traveling farther and delivering those insect-borne illnesses to farther reaches of the planet. So climate crisis definitely is a concern of global proportion. Disease outbreaks, they often take place in places that have protracted conflict. So if there is a civil war or there is something going on where people either all come together in a refugee camp or it's the outside world is cut off, we need to be able to deliver health or deliver aid to places of conflict and crisis. So places of war war attacks that force people out of their homes, sometimes for years or more. It can be hard to get medical care in a refugee camp or hard to get medical care when you don't have a home to go to. So that's a big concern for the World Health Organization is how do we deliver health to people who are experiencing conflict and crisis. Healthcare. This is almost like a blacklisted word in the United States. There are a lot of discrepancies with healthcare. The United States is just one of, I don't even know what other countries have their healthcare tied to their employment status. Many countries everybody has universal health care or government health care. And there are pluses and minuses to that as well. Again, this class is not a deep dive into public health or health care. However, discrepancies in health care or unfair health care definitely is a concern. There is a 18-year difference in life expectancy between rich countries and poor countries. Fortunately, the United States is a rich country and it costs a lot of money to get health care, but we do have health care options here. We have health care options for non-communicable diseases like heart disease, type 2 diabetes, things like that, that maybe we should have been preventative with in the first place so we don't have to spend a lot of money on them. That's another topic. But those costs can really drain somebody who is not financially secure. Even somebody who is financially secure, it can cost hundreds of thousands of dollars, sometimes with or without insurance, to deal with diseases like that. That would bankrupt me in a hurry, and that causes people to really have to make life decisions between sustaining care or stepping away from care and seeing what happens. So the healthcare system definitely needs some fixes to it, and that's a concern around the world. Expanding access to medicine is another concern. A third of the population lacks access to medicine and even basic medical supplies. So remember in 2020 when everybody ran out of toilet paper for a few weeks and it was a disaster? Talk about first world problem, right? We didn't know what to do without toilet paper for a couple of weeks, but there are people who can't get typical things like insulin. So multiply that by the amount of people in the world that actually need some type of medicine to survive and either can't get it because of cost or can't get it just because of physical access. So medicine isn't cheap. It's a huge cost for healthcare systems, and it's a huge cost for people who need medicine. So expanding access to medicine is a big focus area for the World Health Organization. Diseases like HIV, hepatitis, malaria, and sexually transmitted infections killed 4 million people in 2020. That data is a little outdated now, but it's probably more people. And then if we factor in all the deaths from COVID, the coronavirus, these infectious diseases can run rampant. And there are opportunities, I don't want to say cures, but there are opportunities, vaccines for some of these diseases. Polio, measles, most of you got vaccinated with those when you were very young, but those diseases are still not eradicated. So these infectious diseases that can spread pandemic-wide and take over, there's ways for us to make that stop, but lack of funding, especially in poor countries, a lack of commitment from the wealthy countries, misinformation about vaccines and pharmaceuticals and options for these infectious diseases have put people at odds with believing whether it's safe or true or whatever the case might be. But infectious diseases, I can only assume that another pandemic will come our way, and I'm hoping that we have learned something from it and that we will, with all the science and technology at our fingertips, it's frustrating that we aren't able to eradicate some of these diseases that have been around and we've been able to find a cure for them, but yet they're still out there. Here we go, preparing for epidemics. Each year, the world spends way more money responding to disease outbreaks than preparing for them and preventing. Again, here we are in reactive. It's not like we don't learn anything from our past mistakes. Instead of preparing and preventing and being ready, we spend way more money on the back end. Just like we ran out of toilet paper, remember we ran out of PPE, personal protective equipment and gloves and respirators. And of course, we could not know the scale of what the coronavirus would do and how many hospital rooms we'd need and all of that stuff. But the lessons learned don't seem to be sinking in because we still seem to be reactive when preparing for epidemics instead of being proactive and saying, this is the steps we're going to take if and when nature decides to mess with us again, which it will. This topic, protecting people from dangerous products, is kind of a two-sided coin. There's a percentage of the world that lacks adequate and safe food. So there are people who are starving and do not have access to clean drinking water. But then on the flip side of things, for many others, there is overconsumption of unhealthy products. Smoking, alcohol, fast food. We are inundated with these messages, and we aren't always told that they're dangerous, or we are advertised to in the right kind of way. Take a look at tobacco. They want to advertise to young customers. Why? Because their older customers are dying, so they need to replace them with younger people to keep the habit going. So how do we protect people from dangerous products, especially if they don't know they're dangerous? I think more recently about some of the pharmaceuticals and pills that people take that maybe don't have a lot of research behind them, but they promise weight loss, or they promise tighter skin, or they promise, faster sports performance. These products definitely need to be vetted, and we need to protect people, especially vulnerable people, from making decisions about getting addicted to dangerous products. Supply chain continuity, another big one. Our supply chain globally, I can't imagine. I'm so surprised that it even keeps working. There's so many links that could be, just one link could be broken and things could be backlogged, as we've seen with things again earlier a few years ago, where we had shortages of many different things. One thing goes wrong in that global supply chain and many people are thrown off. So how do we protect our supply chain, protect it from terrorism and bioterrorism, and just protect the products and the ability for us to do trade with other countries in the world all over the place for the health of our nation? And finally, a big concern for the World Health Organization for the year 2020 and beyond is earning public trust. Patients need to be willing to trust their healthcare provider. So everything from vaccines, STD protection, actually taking your prescribed medicines. The anti-vax movement was really big and still has some steam behind it. And public health can be compromised when there is an uncontrolled dissemination of misinformation on social media. So when somebody shares something, even if they think it's true or they know it's not true, but they still share it, think about that grapevine that multiplies and multiplies. It is very hard to earn back trust when you are getting inundated with things from all different sides. So that's why advocating for yourself and being health literate are ways that you can make sure you're living your best life and protect yourself. But if we don't have the public's trust in our medical system and in our world leaders, that's a really hard thing to come back from. As you look through those 10 topics on the list from the World Health Organization, they are scary. They might seem a little insurmountable. Hopefully you feel like there's some parts that you can control within your own environment and your own social circle, but you'll be able to answer one of your discussion board questions on what do you think about these and which one maybe resonates with you the most. As we move on to spiritual wellness, this ties in with global health because no matter where you are in the world, people have thoughts and experiences that connect them to their purpose in life. So spiritual wellness is being connected to something greater than yourself, having a set of values, principles, morals, beliefs that really provide a sense of purpose and meaning for life. And then you use those principles to guide your actions. Spiritual wellness doesn't have to involve organized religion. It definitely can. You might practice spiritual wellness through other things like being in nature, meditation, volunteering, and showing compassion. When you think about your wellness wheel and the different dimensions, environmental, social, intellectual, physical, emotional, financial, which we didn't touch on a lot, occupational, when those all work together and work smoothly and we have a wheel that rolls nicely, we can think about that encompassing our spiritual wellness. Our spirit is at peace and it's happy, and we really feel purpose in life. Maybe you are saying to yourself, Jen, I don't think my spiritual wellness is doing so hot. I don't know what to do. I'm just not feeling like I'm living up to my higher purpose. Well, let's take a look at some habits for cultivating spiritual wellness. It might seem cliche, but yoga is certainly a habit that could get you into being more connected with your body and mind and the spiritual world. Yoga is a physical technique. It helps reduce the emotional and physical strains on your body. It does a lot of things physically within your body, like lowering your blood pressure, reducing your anxiety. The picture here is Yoga with Adrienne. She does a 30-day home practice. I love it. She's funny. She has cats and dogs that come and visit her in her yoga videos. They're very short, but they are a great way to either start or end your day. Or if you find yourself at a time during the day you just need to step away from what you're doing, come and do some yoga with Adrienne. This is just one of many examples of accessible, free opportunities for you to get more connected with your body, mind, and spirit. Traveling, yay, one of my favorite things. Travel can allow us to temporarily leave our day-to-day obligations. It gives us a different perspective. We see the world through a different set of glasses. We can contemplate, we can reflect, we can obtain rest. So you do not need to fly to the Grand Canyon to be in awe of all of nature's beauty. Maybe you just get in your car and drive somewhere new, or you walk somewhere that you haven't walked before. Being in nature and traveling definitely can help cultivate spiritual wellness because it gives us a different way to think about things. It gets us out of our routine. Volunteering is a great way to work on your spiritual life. So maybe it's a one-day volunteer opportunity. Maybe it's a volunteer opportunity that repeats itself. Concordia St. Paul has some service learning programs that are short-term. We also offer some study abroad programs and connections to other service organizations after graduation like AmeriCorps. Volunteering your time helps you see your bigger purpose, helps you see that global world and the small part that you play in that big world. It's definitely rewarding to volunteer. Mentoring is another awesome opportunity to grow and cultivate your spiritual wellness. Maybe it's being a professional mentor or a personal mentor, or maybe you are being mentored right now. Maybe you're on the mentee side of things, but you can build community and you can build your spiritual wellness by sharing in a mentoring opportunity. There's mentoring opportunities, again, offered through Concordia St. Paul, or you can check with any local organizations that you might have. Meditation is the final habit suggested here, and this has been practiced for thousands of years. It's the process of being fully aware, but also turning your mind off to any distractions or anything that doesn't serve you. It's about living in the present. A lot of times you have a certain breathing rhythm, or there might be a word that you repeat in your mind, but meditation really puts a hard stop on everything else that's going on in your life and just allows you to be present in your body, thank your body for all the contributions that it gives to you, and really help you clarify your purpose. Meditation can be as short as 2 minutes long. You can do it while you're getting ready to fall asleep at night or sitting on the couch, or even doing it before you go to work or after you come home from work. Breathing, eyes open, eyes closed, but really clearing your mind and listening to your body. I hope you have some opportunities this week and in the future to practice some spiritual wellness, whether that be some meditation or yoga or journaling or being in nature or attending a religious service. When our spiritual cup is full, we're going to feel better physically, we're going to feel better emotionally and mentally. I hope by now you have seen how all of these components of wellness tie together. And it's by making small changes in our attitude, small changes in our behaviors and our daily routines that help keep us pushing forward. Wellness and health is a journey. It's not a destination. You're not just going to get to the end of the road and be 100% healthy or 100% happy or 100% well. We have to work at it. We have to commit to it. And sometimes we need to go backwards to be able to go forwards again. As you reflect on your behavior modification plan, I hope that this isn't the end of it. I do hope that you found a habit or a behavior to change that was something that you wanted to change, and I hope you found some success. I do hope that you struggled. I hope that you had some barriers and obstacles that you had to overcome, because then that demonstrates to you your resiliency. If you've enjoyed doing something like this, next time through, I would encourage you to invite a family member or friend to work on a behavior with you as well. And hopefully those behaviors will be changed and sustained as you go throughout your life. It's been a privilege to be able to walk with you on your wellness journey through these last 7 weeks. I do hope that you have gathered some information about yourself, about what works for you, about how to consume and make decisions about information that's thrown your way, how to be preventative and make sure that you are the decision maker and guide of your own personal health, and then that you can finally advocate and share that with your greater community as well. From all of us at Concordia St. Paul, we appreciate you being in class, and we'll see you again soon.